Hi, everyone. My name is David King. I'm with Epilet. We're going to give everybody just a few more minutes here to jump on the call. All right, we're going to go ahead and begin here. So as I mentioned just a minute ago, my name is David King. I'm with Epilet. I'm currently the West Coast region specialist for ProducerConnect. So if you're on this call today, you should be on the West Coast or somewhere in the Western states. If you're not, you're more than welcome to stay on the demo. However, I'll need to make sure I connect you with the right specialist so that they work directly with you. Okay, so we're going to kind of move forward here. So some of the topics we're going to cover today is we're going to talk about Epilet. We're going to talk about some of the pains that agencies have. I myself was an agent for 4 years, so I know a lot of the pains that agencies deal with on a daily basis. So we're going to really focus on these today. This is a little different than a normal demo that I do. So we're going to kind of play through this and just kind of work through it. And if you have questions, which I'll cover here on the next screen. So basically, it's designed for agencies that are new to Epilet. So all microphones are currently muted. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat box. But do note, this is not a training webinar. Any questions on how to use Epilet will be directed to the training webinars we offer. I've listed it here, epilet.com/webinars, and select the ProducerConnect trainings. So we'll cover, just like I mentioned before, the many pain points that your agency faces, and I'll show you examples of how Epilet can help you use them. Okay, so we're going to move forward here. So what is Epilet? Epilet's an automation platform that works with bringing together the agent, insured, MGA broker, and carrier into the point of sale platform. So our goal here is to empower you as an agent, expand your markets, automate your workflows, all saving you time and money. We're going to go through more screen sharing here in just a minute. I'm just going to cover just a few little topics, and then we'll dive right into into everything. So we currently have over 30,000 agents in our network that use Epilet, and that number is growing daily. You can use Epilet both for personal and commercial lines of business, although at this time it's primarily designed for 80% commercial, 20% personal lines. So it's really what we focus on is the commercial side of things. About 9 months ago, we sent out a survey asking our users how much time they saved using Epilet. With the average of 40 submissions in a month, the average time savings is approximately 37 minutes. Someone can expect to receive about 25 hours of saved time using Epilet to its fullest. So using it for the loss runner and other features, which we're going to cover, as well as the submissions. So today we're going to cover the loss runner tool. We're going to cover how to block markets. We're going to lightly dive into this. We're not actually going to use a full example, but we're going to explain how vehicle schedules can be saved. You can save time on vehicle schedules, as well as form features like e-sign and etc. So we're going to dive into loss runner here. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that. Give me just a moment here. Okay, so we're going to start with a quote that I've already loaded in. And again, all of how to get started with this will be covered in the training. We're just really doing a high level on just the features of the platform. So we have a feature called Loss Runner, and a loss runner is really designed for the agency that's looking for a way to get their loss runs more automated. Unfortunately, it's not a complete loop back to you, but I'm going to demonstrate on how we use our loss runner feature. So when you're requesting the loss runs, we have several different letters to choose from. So we have a broker of record letter, we have a letter of authorization, agency loss run, insured loss run. All of these are pre-built into the system. And all they're really doing, the 4 different ones are, they're changing some of the verbiage down below. So what this is doing is, I have loaded in an Accord into the system. You can use your agency management system as well, but I loaded an Accord in with Golden Apple Nursery. I set the start date and I've loaded a few markets in. And so we're trying to get the loss runs for Agora West. So the system just has Agora West loaded in it, but if you notice, it's also loaded in all this other information of the loss run department. And we've got most carriers and MGAs nationwide loaded into here already. So you shouldn't have to spend any time looking up loss run department information or calling the carrier to get that information. Most of the time we've already got it already loaded in here. If you notice, there's a fax number attached with this one already. We're requesting these policies over these periods. We're just wording it in such a way, this is again the letter of authorization. We're wording it in such a way where we're asking that this be sent directly to the agency, which is us. So I've got that shown here. And then if you notice down here, it says insured signature. So what we're basically doing is we're taking this form, we're gonna fill in our insured's information. So we'll just do like Bugs Bunny, for example, here. Or I guess that one's not gonna work, okay. So we're filling this information in, and then it's gonna be digitally sent over to our insured where they're gonna sign it. And the link that they get, they don't need to sign into a website or anything like that. They just click it and it opens it up. They complete their digital signature, and then it takes that information from there and it sends it out automatically to this fax number once it's been signed. You also receive a notification that it's been signed so that you know it's on its way out the door to the carrier. And at that point, like I said, it gets faxed out. And then from there, you're just kind of waiting for it to come back. Me being an agent previously, I know that half the time they come back to me, half the time they still go to the insured. But either way, at least it's been sent out and you don't have to worry about it. Another nice, really nice feature at the bottom down here, we have the ability to follow up. So for example, in California, I know it's a 10-day period in which they have to get back to you with the loss runs. So you could put in, say, 11 business days or something to that. And Loss Runner will just email you, reminding you that to check up on these loss runs, whether you've got them or the insured's got them. And the way this form would look is, I'm going to open it up here. So this is the form of what it will look like, and then it'll just have that signature down here. Now, some questions that I've gotten with this feature in the past is, does it include the trailing documents? Is this legal? All those kind of questions. It is fully legal. Once you get this document sent out, on this page, you would simply click this button here, and you would have access to the document as well as all those trailing documents that are required to make it legally binding, such as like the IP addresses and all that, all that technical stuff that's added to it. So that would be shown here. So that's the Loss Runner feature. Another very popular feature that we get asked about is blocking the market. So many states for workers' comp allow you to send out 90 days ahead, or maybe they have a specific date where you can block out certain markets. And so the way we work that is, we have, with our email style submission, you would simply have your email server configured, which we take care of during our training, and we get you all set up with that. And the way it works out is the system sends this email out on your behalf. So if you notice, it says on behalf of David King here. So it will send this email out on your behalf, and it'll put a copy of it in your sent box so that you have a full copy of it. But also what it's doing here is it's allowing you to craft an email here. So if you're sending this email out to, let's say, like State Fund of California, or another carrier or MGA where you're blocking that in, you'll fill out your email to its complete when it's completed here, and then you just simply click this little schedule submission icon. And I got to just add a basic little email here. So I'd click on this, and let's say that we've got the loss runs back, we've got all of our paperwork ready, and our 90-day our 90-day window is let's just say Friday the 29th. I can simply move this over here, and I can schedule it for, say, 12:01 a.m. I hit done, and I hit done again, and now it's scheduled this email to go out at that time period. So this is really fantastic for a lot of other ways as well, such as if you're going on vacation, you're going to be out of the office, but something needs to be sent out. It gives you a lot of power and freedom by having this type of feature, so that you're not having to log into your work when you're away from the office and things like that. So this has been a very popular feature and allows a lot of flexibility with scheduling those emails. The next one we want to talk about today is automating your vehicle schedules. So unfortunately, I used the cord that we use for our demos is a workers' comp accord, so I can't show you verbatim. However, I'm going to show you with AmTrust here how this works. And it's basically going to take all the data that you would have brought in on your Accord or your agency management system, all this data that's been loaded in down here, we're going to use it to load it into AmTrust as an example, and it's going to pre-fill all these spaces. So if you're working on let's say a business auto, it's going to take all those VINs and it's going to bring them in automatically. So I'm going to show you how this works. So I simply click this, it opens it up. And at this point now, I'm just going to hit create new. And what this has done, just so that everybody knows, I've already entered all of my credentials and producer code in here. So you don't have to worry about it meshing up with anybody else's. That's how it logged me in with all this information. So when I hit create new here, this is where the power of the system kicks in. So if you notice, it's loading all this data. And how this does it is we have this little tool up here called a web link. So these markets, we have hundreds of these markets that we've got loaded in here into the system that cover, I'm going to show you this here, that allow us to bring this data in and bridge it into their systems. So it's loading all this data in. So as you can see, as we're going to continue through this, I'll hit continue again. Again, it's going to load more data automatically for me. I'm not typing any of this information in. But as you can see, if you're doing like a business auto, for example, and you've got VIN numbers, I mean, that's 17 digits times, 10, 20 trucks or vehicles, whatever you're typing in, plus their makes and models, people's driver's license numbers. That's a lot of data that you're going to have to enter over and over when you're doing submissions. Whereas our system is going to be able to help you take that data that you've entered in here, bridge it into the website that you're loading this data into, saving you all that time and energy of having to fill it out meticulously over and over again, and possibly even causing data entry issues. So this is going to speed that time up, as well as allow you to be more accurate with that entry. And I can just, I could continue through this quote like normal, because, if I was doing, let's say, an AmTrust quote, for example, I would just continue through this quote like normal, and this data is just going to continue to be loaded as much as it can, speeding up my submission time. And that is the web link showing you how to we can load that data in as quickly as possible. The next thing I wanted to cover today is our forms feature. Now, this is a really big one as well. Nobody loves filling out supplementals. I'm sure nobody wakes up in the morning saying, oh, I can't wait to fill out 5 supplementals for the exact same line of business. So we're trying our best to help save you time on this one. So currently we've got about, let's get the supplemental list here, forms list. Excuse me. So right now we've got about 1,954 supplementals entered in the system. And the way our supplementals can benefit you is when you're adding your markets on, the supplementals get added as you add your markets on. And all this data that's down here is going to help load into these supplementals, as well as you add supplementals or edit these supplementals, that data is going to be shared across the whole platform as well. So a good example here is if I add, let's say, State Fund of California, it added 2 new supplementals on when I added the market on. And if I go in here and I edit this particular supplemental, I can either choose Q&A style, or I can do inline, which is the complete form. You'll notice that there's these little pencil icons here. These little pencil icons are editable fields. Each of these fields is linked to other fields in the whole platform. So if one of these specific, let's say like a farm labor contract license number. So if we enter this here, and it's applicable to any other fields in the platform on any other form, if you're using that form, it'll auto-fill it. So what I tell most agencies is it's probably going to fill about 80% of the information across all of your supplementals, and then you're only going to be left going in, filling out just a little bit of information across each of the supplementals, as opposed to filling them all out from beginning to end. Now, another really, really nice feature that we have here is, let's say that you fill out the supplemental to its entirety and you're left with just a little bit of information, say maybe a couple questions in section 6 you just don't know the answer to. So maybe your CSR didn't during discovery ask these questions, or your producer didn't get this information. You could either call them or email them, which is the normal route of doing things, or you can really take advantage of the system. Click this little link up here that says send request to complete. And when you do this, it opens it up to just a little basic email. And if you notice here, it includes a link. This link is going to allow your insured to open up, and it's going to look just like this. So they're going to basically, instead of the full page of all the tabs and everything on it, they're going to get a just a simple tab where it looks just like this. They open it up, and then from there, they have the ability to go through and answer the questions just like we mentioned. They can do inline by just simply clicking here and doing inline, or they can do Q&A style. And you can kind of direct them on that email that you're going to send them on what they need to fill out. Now, this is a completely optional tool. You don't have to use it, but it can be very powerful, especially if you have a very busy agency and you just don't have a whole lot of time to be calling or emailing questions. You can just simply send this email out. They'll log in, they'll change it. Works great. So that's the supplemental side of things. Also, when you're in here, so as you're filling these out, you can print out Accord forms. So if you want to have access to an Accord form, you can simply just click on it here, and now it's populating an Accord form for you. That's a great little feature. You can also merge forms. So let's say we wanted to merge, this and this together. We can simply convert it into one PDF. We could do other things such as send forms to sign. We can send request to complete certain features. The system has a whole bunch of features like this. So let's see, we've covered that. So some frequently asked questions. So sometimes we'll have agencies that'll ask, we don't use Accord forms, we just use our agency management system. So the way we typically answer that is pretty much every agency management system is compatible with our system. And the way it works is we have a tool up here called Uplink. And what Uplink will do is it's going to take that data from your agency management system, which I'll show you. We may or may not have yours listed here. 99.9% of the time, it will work with every agency management system. I've never heard of it not working with one. That's why I said 99.9. But for example here, give me just a moment here. For example here, we've got Uplink for AMS 360. So this just gives you an example of what it looks like here. So we got e-forms. So you basically go through here, and if you notice as we get a little further down here, it's selecting the Uplink driver. And that's exactly how I brought it in today. Was I used an Accord, and I clicked the Uplink driver off of my list of printers, and I brought that Accord in. However, you may have an agency management system like this, and you just simply uplink it and bring it into the system, and it bridges all that data in, just like how we're at on our main page. So that's how you bring the data in. So you don't have to be using just Accords. You can bring it in. Looks like it timed me out there. So that's a great way to do it. So what if I need more time to learn the system after onboarding? Our training video is available. So when you come aboard, we have trainings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, hosted by our agent ambassador, Sarah, as well as when you come aboard as a premium user, you also have the ability to email me for questions. However, typically, I'll still refer you back to Sarah. Sarah tends to get into the system a lot deeper than I do, whereas I do these demos, day in and day out, the same kind of information. But once you come aboard, you get training for life. So you never have to worry about, if you bring another agent on, am I going to get training? Do I have to pay more? It's all built right into that. So you don't have to worry about that at all. Let's see here. Some more questions. Can we create web link access for markets that are currently only accepting email submission? So as you noticed here earlier, we have email type submission. Most of the time, we've got most markets in that are loaded into web link. So the difference here is if a market, let's say you're sending it out to an MGA, they're going to be listed as email, which is the typical way most MGAs receive it. But if you have a carrier and we don't have this web link created for them yet, you can request, when you become a premium member, you can request for us to add these markets for you so that you can use it like we used this AmTrust earlier. Whereas normally, if we don't have this already created, it would be as an email only. So what I would recommend is, if you're interested in the premium product, to reach out to me, and we can either schedule a private demo where we can go through to verify the markets that you have, to make sure that the expectations are how I'm showing you on this demo. But if they're not, when you come aboard, we can always add these markets for you. They're currently free to add. However, we just ask that you give us a little bit of time to build these out, because it does take our software developers some time to add these into our system. I'm so sorry here. Give me just a moment. Okay. Can we keep insured's profiles private from other agents in the office? So the way Epilet works is we have several different tiers of users. So if we notice here, I've got a producer level for me. So there's three main different tiers. There's admin, there's producer, and there's CSR. The admin can view all individual producers' information and can view all the submissions. The producer will only be able to see their own, and a CSR can view all of them but can't make any changes to the system. That gives the power and freedom for you to be able to choose a little bit of, should somebody have an admin, should somebody have producer rights. It also prevents other people from getting kind of nosy and going in to see other people's things. But again, the admin will be able to have full power to go in and view all of it in the system. Can we use our own logins for market portals, or do we use a shared login? As I mentioned before, when we're over here, you're going to enter your own individual credentials for each agent or CSR, so that when they log in, it'll be them. You don't have to worry about using a group one unless that's what your agency already uses. Let's see here. We got some more common questions. Okay, so really, what's next? So the next steps are, if this is something that you're interested in, I'm going to be sending an email out to everybody who's attended the webinar today, and just simply reply back to the email with any additional questions that you have. I'm going to open it up here in just a few minutes as well for questions if anybody wants to ask any. But don't hesitate to ask any questions that you have, or request a demo. I know that this was a very, very brief tutorial, but it was really intended just to kind of show you some of the powerful tools that we have in the system. But you're more than welcome to request a full demo, and we can go deeper into this. This is just kind of to save you time on whether or not this product is right for you. So at this time, if anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand, and I can unmute you. Doesn't look like anybody's got any questions. All right, well, it doesn't look like I've got any questions coming in, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up at this point here. Again, we were just trying to make this very short so that it saves you a lot of time, so we weren't wasting a lot of your time. But I will send that email out in just a few minutes. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and end the call unless anybody's got any additional questions. I don't see anybody raising their hand here. All right, well, if that's it, then I will go ahead and conclude the webinar for today. I appreciate everybody's time. I hope that answered some questions that you had, and look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you. Have a great day.